Getting a strange visitor from the upside down. Here's your look at the Bandai Stranger Things Demogorgon. Bandai brings one of the most iconic and popular shows, Stranger Things, to life with these detailed figures that are a love letter to 80s pop culture. Fans and collectors alike can bring home their favorite characters and monsters from the series that captivated audiences and became a global phenomenon. This detailed vinyl figure highlights the extraordinary detail of one of the most recognizable monsters in the Upside Down, the Demogorgon. Before we get down to the details on the Demogorgon, let me once again thank the folks over at Bandai, who provided the sample of not only the Demogorgon that we're about to have a look at, but also the 11 and the Hopper that we've looked at in 2 earlier videos, if you guys wanted to check those out. I'm going to bring in my ruler just to figure out how tall the Demogorgon is. Bringing it in right now, the figure stands 7 inches in height, or 18 centimeters tall. Sadly for Demogorgon, his articulation is quite limited. We're going to talk more about that in a second. But it's not to say that you still can't pick this one up for yourself and display it with the previously looked at Void series Stranger Things figures. Case in point, we can move this one over right now and bring in 11. Being the fact that the Demogorgon does have the limited articulation that it does, I feel there could have been an opportunity made by Bandai to increase the size of the figure. Because as it stands right now, it is taller than 11, but I would have maybe increased the size even by an extra head still, so it would have towered over top of the other figures, more than making up for the fact that the figure does have limited articulation for it. I'm sure you can make then the assumption that the figure doesn't include any accessories, and sadly you'd be right. Although, I'm going to give it the pass this time around. Demogorgon, I don't expect it to be carrying around coffee mugs, for example. Maybe, yeah, a display stand would have been nice to include with the figure, but more the accessories are things I would have expected to see coming included with 11, coming included with Hopper. As it goes bare bones wise, I'm going to give it again the pass for the Demogorgon, simply just the type of character that it is. Picking the figure up right now, I suppose again we can talk a little bit about the limited articulation. We'll run through that right now. Blink, you may miss it. The figure has articulation in the shoulders. That's it. So the arms do rotate all the way around. They creak and squeak as they do that. And you can do the same on the other side as well. That's it. See, I told you, if you blinked, you would have missed that. I actually thought for a second, when first seeing these online, that the figures may have actually had wire-framed arms or wire-framed legs. But spinning around, the disappointment fell quite quickly, realizing that there's no holes on the backs of the arms, nor on the backs of the legs. So the figure doesn't have any wire-frame capabilities, which is something, again, they probably could have put into a figure that has this level of articulation. I think the Demogorgon may actually win the least articulated figure that we've looked at here on this channel. For the fact that it doesn't have anything other than just the shoulders that we looked at earlier, it's a decently detailed looking Demogorgon, I will say. The interior of its mouth, what mouth you can make out, as well as the spiky petals that make out the parameter of it, nicely sculpted by Bandai. Maybe, yes, there could have been an opportunity that they could have gone in there to help break up all the same red that they ended up using. I mean, they could have gone in there and painted in like the individual teeth, for example, white, or even added a slightly lighter or darker wash just to give it a nice contrast on the inside of the mouth, because it's so much of the same red happening in here that some of the sculpting, unfortunately, gets a little lost. The petals themselves, as I've already indicated, are not articulated. There's no articulation there, nor in the head. If anything, I feel could have been added, at least for articulation, would have been the head articulation. At the very least, the ball joint. Something you would be able to move this head back and forth. But again, unfortunately, you can't. While it doesn't have the articulation as maybe the other Stranger Things figures that we have looked at, I will say at least like the sculpting of the body is pretty good. One thing that certainly helps to bring the sculpting out is the additional washing of brown that they've added over top of it. It looks like it's a very dark brown or even borderlining a very almost black color, but it certainly does help to bring the details out. When we see it from the back, we see it from the arms. Even seeing like the wrinkles, for example, on the elbows pop a lot more because they added the wash to it. I can only imagine if they didn't put the wash of darker color over top of it, it still would have been a nice looking figure, but it would have certainly even more reminded me of the figure having very little to no posability going for it. Like the lower legs, for example, could have had knee articulation. I don't want to spend the whole time talking about the fact that the figure lacks in articulation. We can certainly talk about the positives. Like, it's a really nice sculpted figure, right down to its very oversized feet. For some reason, I guess, because the way the figure's leaning forward, I don't know if you can see that or not. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll put it down so you can really get what I'm talking about. See how the figure leans forward like this? It's just the way they've sculpted the legs. It's not so much the head, nor is it really the hands. Although if you do have the hands too far forward, it really does cause the figure just to fall forward. So you really do want to when it comes to displaying him, you really want to keep the arms somewhat leveled or flat to the side of its body. Unfortunately, just again, the way they've sculpted the legs causes a permanent lean forward when it comes to the figure. You don't see it as much when you're looking at it this way, but you certainly see it when you're looking at it this way here. Figure could have been a little bit bigger, yes. Figure could have had certainly more articulation. And even when I say certainly more articulation, I don't expect them to have gone in there and give articulated tops to his thighs, nor articulation in the knees or the ankles. I'm fine for the fact if they wanted to leave this as is. But at the very least, I think they could have gone in there and added an articulated ball-jointed head. So at least you would get a little more mileage as being able to bring the arms out. Maybe as well, they could have put pegals on the undersides of their feet. So if you did want to bring the arms out for the Demogorgon, you could at least attach a display stand. Even if it didn't include the figure with the figure in the first place, attach yourself a display stand on the bottom of it. So when you are putting the figure down and you have the figure's arms out like this, the figure, again, isn't going to fall over on you. Not really that bad when it comes to sculpt, but pretty bad on articulation. The fact that the Demogorgon only has the articulation in the shoulders, and then even still on top of that, the idea that you can't even bring the arms forward because the figure's going to fall forward on it. Still, though, I don't know why they had to have the figure leaning forward like this. They could have easily straightened out the legs. Sort of the way that they've sculpted the figure guarantees that you can't bring the arms out, which immediately eliminates any and all articulation that they included with the figure in the first place. It's decently detailed, like I said, and that wash of brown certainly does go a long way to enrich the sculpting that they put into it. But it's a very bare bones, basic Demogorgon. If you are looking to pick up a Demogorgon for your collection on the cheap, this one's actually not bad. I think this one sits around $20. They did also release the Demodog, which you can probably already see on the back of the packaging. Bandai was nice enough to send that one over as well, which we will be looking at in an upcoming review. But have you picked up the Demogorgon for yourself or the Demodog? Let me know down below in the comments section what you guys think of them, or just based on this review, are these figures that you would like to pick up and add to your collection if you're a big fan of Stranger Things? Once again, a big reminder too that, yeah, Stranger Things, judging by the calendar I'm looking at over there, which Tony has scribbled all over stuff. Yeah, he's scribbled every single square with things that he's going to be doing. What is this, Spaghetti Day? Why are we marking down on the calendar spaghetti? Do we need to be reminded that there's Spaghetti Day? But yeah, looking at the calendar, we should be getting soon the new season of Stranger Things, and I personally can't wait. As I said, though, we are going to be looking at the review of the Demodog. His review is going to be coming up right around the corner. So if you are new to this channel, people, new members of the internet community, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so you're getting those friendly reminders whenever new videos are going to be popping up. And just a friendly 411 from the person that's behind the camera to you, that's the person in front of the monitor. Just know that there are going to be the reviews of the Demodog as well as a bunch of other Stranger Things coming your way, so keep your upside down peepers peeled to this channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.